this, but would you like to say something?
It was a very difficult time.
For years, Angelina Jolie avoided speaking publicly in detail about her split from Brad Pitt, choosing instead to frame the separation in terms of healing and family privacy. When interviewers cautiously approached the subject, she often redirected the focus toward her children and their well-being. The restraint became part of her public image, composed, deliberate, unwilling to escalate. Yet the end of 2024 marked a turning point. On December 30th, 2024, after 8 years of legal proceedings, Jolie and Pitt finalized their divorce. Jolie had originally filed in September 2016, just 2 years after their wedding. The legal process lasted 4 times longer than the marriage itself, a fact that underscored how deeply entangled their lives and assets had become. Her attorney, James Simon, released a statement saying she was exhausted but relieved, emphasizing that she had prioritized peace and stability for her family since the day she filed. Just days later, on January 3rd, 2025, Jolie appeared in an interview with W magazine while promoting her portrayal of Maria Callas in the film Maria. The conversation initially centered on art and performance, but one answer reverberated far beyond cinema. Asked about her biggest pet peeve, Jolie replied that it was somebody who is a liar, someone who says one thing and means another, who is not fully honest about what they feel or want. She elaborated that she was not trying to be heavy, but that people who are not completely who they are disturb her. Given the timing, days after the divorce settlement, media outlets interpreted the comment as a pointed remark. The word liar carried added weight in light of years of legal disputes, allegations, and non-disclosure agreement conflicts. Whether intentional or not, the statement reignited scrutiny. Later in 2025, Jolie made another public declaration. This time, not in a magazine, but within court filings connected to the ongoing dispute over Chateau Miraval, the French estate, and winery the couple had purchased together in 2008. In her declaration, she described the events leading to her separation as emotionally difficult for her and their children. She stated that she had left Pitt in control of their shared properties without compensation, hoping that doing so would calm tensions after what she characterized as a traumatic period. She added that neither she nor the children had returned to Miraval since 2016, citing painful associations with the property. Miraval was not just an investment. It was where they married in 2014, where they raised their children, and where they built a wine brand that gained international recognition. Her absence from the estate symbolized a deeper fracture. To understand the magnitude of the fallout, one must consider the scale of what Jolie and Pitt built together. Jolie, born in Los Angeles in 1975 to actor Jon Voight and actress Marceline Bertrand, grew up largely with her mother after her parents separated. She studied at the Lee Strasberg Theatre Institute and faced emotional struggles during her youth, later speaking openly about depression and self-harm. Her acting breakthrough came in the 1990s, culminating in an Academy Award for Girl, interrupted in 1999. Films like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider established her as a global star. Parallel to her career, she embraced humanitarian work, becoming a goodwill ambassador for the UNHCR and adopting her first child, Maddox, from Cambodia in 2002. Pitt, born in 1963 in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and raised in Missouri, pursued acting after, leaving journalism studies just short of graduation. His early years in Los Angeles were marked by odd jobs before his breakout in Thelma and Louise in 1991. By the late 1990s, films like Fight Club cemented his status as one of Hollywood's leading men. He married Jennifer Aniston in 2000, but his relationship with Jolie emerged after they co-starred in Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. Aniston filed for divorce in 2005, and soon after, photographs of Pitt, Jolie, and Maddox in Kenya confirmed the new relationship. Their partnership expanded quickly. Pitt adopted Maddox and Zahara, whom Jolie had adopted from Ethiopia. Shiloh was born in Namibia in 2006, and twins. Knox and Vivian followed in 2008. The couple sold exclusive baby photos for millions, donating proceeds to charity. They launched the Jolie Pitt Foundation and invested in projects ranging from global health initiatives to rebuilding homes in post-Katrina New Orleans through Pitt's Make It Right Foundation. Chateau Miraval became both a family home and a successful rosé wine enterprise. In 2013, Jolie revealed she had undergone a preventive double mastectomy after testing positive for the BRCA1 gene mutation, crediting Pitt's support during her surgeries. They married privately at Miraval in August 2014, their 6 children, participating in the ceremony. The turning point came on September 14, 2016, during a private flight from France to California. According to court documents filed later by Jolie, an argument escalated mid-flight. She alleged that Pitt had been drinking and became verbally and physically aggressive, grabbing and shaking her and lunging toward one of their children during the confrontation. She described the remainder of the flight as tense and frightening, with the children huddled under blankets. Pitt has denied the allegations, calling them untrue and characterizing the incident as an argument that did not rise to the level described. The FBI and the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services investigated but declined to file charges. 5 days after the flight, Jolie filed for divorce, requesting sole physical custody. Although the divorce proceedings were finalized in 2024, the legal battle over Miraval intensified. In early 2021, Jolie and Pitt reportedly negotiated a tentative deal for Pitt to purchase her 50% stake for $54.5 million. According to Jolie's filings, the agreement collapsed after Pitt sought an expanded non-disclosure agreement that she considered overly broad. She declined to sign it, and later sold her shares to Tenuta del Mundo, affiliated with the Stoli Group. Pitt sued in 2022, alleging she violated an agreement requiring mutual consent before selling. He claimed the sale was designed to undermine his control of the winery and damage his business interests. Jolie countered that no binding agreement prevented her from selling and argued that Pitt's NDA demand was an attempt to silence her regarding alleged abuse. In 2024, a judge ordered Pitt to disclose certain communications related to the 2016 flight and its aftermath, excluding privileged attorney and therapist communications. His legal team objected, calling the request intrusive. As of early 2026, the Miraval litigation remains unresolved. Separate from the finalized divorce, Pitt addressed the end of the divorce in a 2025 interview with GQ, describing it as a legal formality rather than a dramatic milestone. He has spoken openly about sobriety and therapy since 2017, crediting Alcoholics Anonymous and counseling with helping him confront long-standing issues. He characterized the divorce as a catalyst for change and growth. Meanwhile, reports about strained relationships with several of his children have surfaced, including legal name changes, by some of them removing Pitt from their surnames. Sources close to Pitt have attributed the estrangement to parental alienation, a claim Jolie's camp disputes. The public narrative remains complex and deeply contested. Jolie frames her decisions as efforts to protect and stabilize her family, while Pitt emphasizes accountability, personal growth, and denial of abusive conduct. Their story, once celebrated as a union of Hollywood royalty and humanitarian purpose, has transformed into one of the most prolonged and scrutinized legal conflicts in modern celebrity history. With the Miraval case ongoing and private communications under judicial review, the full resolution may still be years away. What began as a romance that captivated the world has evolved into a legal and emotional saga that continues to unfold, shaped by court filings, interviews, and the shifting dynamics of a family once united at the height of global fame. As the Miraval litigation presses forward, the dispute has evolved into something larger than a disagreement over business shares. For both Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, the winery represents legacy, control, and narrative. Chateau Miraval was not merely a financial asset. It was woven into their identity as a couple. Purchased in 2008, the estate became the symbolic heart of their family life. It was where they married in 2014, where their children spent formative years, and where a rosé label grew into an internationally recognized brand. The wine's success elevated Miraval beyond a celebrity side project. It became a respected product within the global market. That transformation from personal retreat to commercial enterprise complicated the separation immeasurably. When Jolie sold her 50% stake in 2021 to a subsidiary of the Stoli Group after negotiations with Pitt collapsed, the move shifted the power dynamic. Pitt's lawsuit, filed in 2022, argued that Jolie had violated an understanding requiring mutual consent before either could sell. He claimed the sale intentionally brought in an outside entity that would challenge his operational control. Jolie's counterclaims rejected the notion of any binding restriction and emphasized her right to exit a partnership she no longer wished to maintain. Central to her argument was the assertion that Pitt demanded an expansive non-disclosure agreement as a condition of purchase, one she interpreted as extending beyond business confidentiality into personal conduct. Pitt's team has consistently denied that the NDA was intended to silence allegations, framing it instead as a standard commercial protection for the brand. The court's 2024 order requiring Pitt to disclose certain communications from the period surrounding the 2016 plane incident marked a significant procedural development. While attorney, client, and therapist communications remained protected, other messages were subject to review. Legal analysts noted that such disclosures can influence settlement negotiations, not necessarily by determining guilt or innocence, but by altering leverage. Pitt's representatives characterized the order as overly broad and intrusive, arguing that the winery dispute should not be conflated with personal allegations from years prior. Jolie's side maintained that the context of the separation and subsequent conduct were inseparable from the business breakdown. Publicly, both parties have attempted to balance litigation with career momentum. Jolie's acting and directing projects, including her portrayal of Maria Callas, have recentered attention on her artistic pursuits. Pitt, promoting major film releases and business ventures, has continued to cultivate an image of professional focus. In interviews, he has spoken candidly about sobriety, therapy, and accountability, describing the divorce as a period of reckoning that forced introspection. He has acknowledged past struggles with alcohol and the need for change, though he has denied abusive behavior. Jolie, by contrast, has framed her rare comments in terms of emotional endurance and protection of her children. The children themselves have increasingly become part of the public conversation, though largely through legal or media reports rather than direct statements. Several have reportedly chosen to use the surname Jolie in professional or academic contexts. Observers interpret these changes in different ways. Sources aligned with Pitt suggest alienation, alleging that he has been unfairly distanced from his children. Sources aligned with Jolie argue that the children's choices reflect their own experiences and autonomy. Without a direct public commentary from the majority of the children, speculation continues to fill the gaps. The broader cultural context amplifies every development. Celebrity divorces are not uncommon, but few unfold over nearly a decade with overlapping custody battles, abuse allegations, multi-million-dollar business disputes, and shifting public narratives. The case illustrates how personal relationships, once merged with brand identity and global philanthropy, can unravel in legally complex ways. What was once branded as Brangelina, a shorthand for glamour and humanitarian partnership, now exists primarily as a legal caption in court documents. Despite the intensity of filings and counterfilings, there are signs of fatigue on both sides. Legal proceedings are expensive, emotionally draining, and unpredictable. Industry insiders have suggested that settlement discussions could eventually resurface, particularly as the children grow older and custody disputes recede in urgency. Yet neither party appears willing to concede core principles regarding Miraval. For Pitt, the winery represents years of cultivation and branding. For Jolie, relinquishing control without conditions she deems fair would contradict her stated reasons for separating in the first place. The FBI investigation into the 2016 incident remains a pivotal reference point. Though no charges were filed and the case was closed, its existence continues to influence perceptions. Jolie's 2022 lawsuit seeking unredacted records, later withdrawn in 2024, suggested she believed further clarity was necessary. Pitt's camp has emphasized that investigative agencies declined prosecution, reinforcing his denial of wrongdoing. The dual realities, Serious allegations on one hand and absence of criminal charges on the other create a tension that neither court of law nor court of public opinion has fully resolved. As of early 2026, the Miraval case stands unresolved, distinct from the finalized divorce decree. Both sides continue to argue over contract interpretation, fiduciary duties, and disclosure obligations. The estate itself continues operations, producing wine and maintaining its brand identity amid litigation headlines. In many ways, Miraval has become the last tangible remnant of a partnership that once symbolized Hollywood power and global advocacy. The story's endurance reflects more than celebrity fascination. It underscores how intertwined personal conduct, corporate governance, and reputation management can become when public figures build empires together. Jolie and Pitt's relationship spanned film sets, humanitarian missions, real estate investments, and family milestones. Its dissolution has required untangling each thread individually, often under intense scrutiny. For observers, the narrative remains incomplete. Court rulings may clarify contractual disputes, but they cannot fully settle personal grievances or reshape fractured family bonds. Interviews and statements offer glimpses, but not comprehensive accounts. Each new filing or comment briefly reignites speculation before receding into procedural timelines. What is clear is that the finalization of the divorce in December 2024 did not mark the end of the saga. It closed one chapter while leaving another open. The legal battle over Chateau Miraval continues to function as both a business dispute and a symbolic reckoning with the past. Whether through settlement or trial, its resolution will likely shape the final public chapter of one of Hollywood's most closely watched relationships. Until then, the story remains suspended between personal testimony, legal argument, and the enduring curiosity of a global audience that once celebrated their union and now watches its aftermath unfold. Even beyond the courtroom filings and headline interviews, the long aftermath of the split between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt continues to shape how both are perceived in Hollywood and beyond. Their separation did not occur in a vacuum. It unfolded during a cultural moment when conversations about power, accountability, trauma, and public image were intensifying across the entertainment industry. As a result, every allegation, denial, and legal maneuver has been filtered through a broader societal lens that did not exist in quite the same way when they first became a couple in the mid-2000s. For Jolie, the emphasis has consistently been on protection and healing. In multiple interviews across the years, she has returned to the idea of shielding her children from instability and prioritizing their emotional safety. Her remarks about crying privately, rather than in front of them, and about wanting them to feel secure even in uncertain times, have reinforced a narrative of maternal focus. Professionally, she has leaned further into directing, humanitarian, advocacy, and selective acting roles that carry emotional weight. Those choices appear aligned with someone curating not just a career, but a legacy defined by resilience and purpose. Pitt's public positioning has centered more on self-examination and recovery. Since 2017, he has spoken openly about sobriety and therapy, framing the divorce as a catalyst for personal change. In interviews, including his feature with GQ, he has downplayed the spectacle of the legal finalization while acknowledging the toll of public scrutiny. His discussion of Alcoholics Anonymous and accountability painted a picture of someone confronting long-standing habits and patterns. Supporters view this transparency as growth. Critics argue it does not directly address the core allegations that triggered the separation. That divergence in interpretation reflects the polarized environment surrounding the case. The children's evolving identities have also become symbolic markers in the public narrative. Reports of name changes and selective contact have fueled speculation about loyalty, estrangement, and autonomy. Yet, as they transition into adulthood, their decisions increasingly reflect personal agency rather than purely parental influence. Observers often forget that these are individuals navigating young adulthood under extraordinary public attention. The gradual shift in how they present their surnames or professional credits suggests a desire to define themselves outside the shadow of a highly publicized parental conflict. Meanwhile, Chateau Miraval remains both asset and emblem. The vineyard continues producing wine, maintaining distribution and brand partnerships despite the litigation cloud. Business analysts note that celebrity-backed ventures can suffer reputational damage during disputes, yet Miraval's commercial standing has remained relatively stable. This resilience underscores the separation between brand perception and personal controversy, at least in consumer markets. Still, ownership and governance questions linger, and any eventual court ruling could reshape operational control. Ultimately, the saga illustrates how modern celebrity divorces extend far beyond personal separation. They intersect with corporate law, media cycles, social movements, and family dynamics in ways that create years-long reverberations. While the divorce decree in December 2024 legally ended the marriage, it did not dissolve the deeper complexities, born from shared businesses, shared children, and shared history. Whether through settlement, court judgment, or quiet negotiation, the final resolution of the Miraval dispute will likely mark the true closing chapter. Until then, the story remains. A layered portrait of fame, fracture, and the enduring consequences of a partnership once viewed as untouchable.